Buff Dude Brothers are back. I'm gonna be letting Brandon do a lot of the flexing and heavy lifting in this video because I'm not exactly in the best place at the moment. Better than I was, but...
What would you say you're at, 70%?
Yeah. I wanna get back to the levels I was and beyond. That's the goal.
What are we doing today? I feel like we should get a back and biceps workout.
Hell yeah, old school Buff Dude style. Me shield. Good music, sweating, grunting,
Montaging.
Oh hell yeah, I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
Let's do it.
But I gotta warm up first.
Yeah.
These old bones.
I'll give you 3 guesses about what exercise is one of our favorites for upper body on back, especially back day. Yeah, it's pull-ups. I'm sure you already guessed that. Pull-ups are definitely a favorite, but we're gonna kind of switch things up a little bit. We're gonna do some alternating side-to-side pull-ups. So it's kind of almost like a unilateral exercise, although you're kind of stabilizing with the other arm at the same time. So you're just gonna get in the pull-up position, and instead of pulling straight up, you're gonna pull up to the side here, come down, and then alternate between each side. Ooh, that feels good. You're kind of isolating each side separately from one to the other, and really, much like a unilateral exercise does, you're starting to kind of figure out any kind of weak positions or point in each side. Obviously, me being right-handed, my left side, a little bit more weaker, my right side's dominant. So you can pay a little bit more closer attention to your weaker side and see if there's any kind of adjustments to be made. And you can also perform a few extra reps on your weaker side too, which is always good because it brings the size up, strength up, makes you more symmetrical. Like any buff dude should be, yeah.
And like with most exercises, if the alternating pull-ups prove to be a little too much of a problem, or maybe they're a little too difficult, you can always go ahead and just do the classic pull-up, which is not necessarily easy either. But we're gonna get it done because like Brandon said, it's one of our absolute favorites. Feels good to be back in this Buff Dude's gym. This is in our parents' basement. And this has provided years and years of content. This one power rack right here is still holding strong. Some of you may remember the video where me and our dad made this thing. It's been about, God, I would say like 5 years now, which is crazy because I was in Portland just the other week and someone came up to me on the street and he kind of had this look in his eye looking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if this guy thinks I'm a buff dude. And sure enough, he says, "Are you a buff dude?" Which is always a good feeling, You could be called worse names on the street for sure. And he told me he had been watching our videos with his buddies in college. He's like, oh, way back in the day, when I was in college 5 years ago. And it's really kind of funny because it does make us think, wow, we have been doing this for a while. So thank you for sticking with us through all these years, thick and thin. We're just gonna keep hitting it, baby. And we hope you are too, because we're all buff together. Yeah, I don't wanna fall on this thing. It's feeling pretty good. And I just wanna say, huge thank you again for all the kind words and the support, hearing your stories. I do feel a little bad. I have over 2,000 unread emails in my inbox. That's kind of sometimes the hard part about this modern social media and everything. There's so many different outlets, Instagram, YouTube, email can get a little overwhelming, especially with just me and Brandon doing this thing. So if we don't reply to you, we just want to let you know we still appreciate you. Maybe one day, I don't know. That's why I'm gonna have a lot of kids. I'm gonna have a lot of kids so I can have my kids let an army of little people answering all the questions.
Show some skin, get the views up.
Full bulk mode. I think I added another 5 pounds of probably fat while I've been up here in Oregon. Mom's cooking and all. So seeing as I lost muscle mass, I made the only gains I knew how.
How to grow 5 inches on your beard in 3 steps. New video.
Roids. Doing some close grip rows here. A little bit of a different setup here, because with this kind of thing, you'd be like a seated close grip row, pull down I should say, but we're gonna be very much like a seated row. But in this case, we're gonna be just lying on the ground where the back is supported on the ground. So there's not gonna be a lot of motion in the waist and the hips. So it's gonna be a little bit more isolated that way, but you won't get as big of a range of motion because you can't pull your elbows all the way back because you're gonna hit the floor. So you're really gonna focus on that stretch, and then nice and slow, pulling those shoulder blades back and together, touch the ground with the back of your arms, and then release. So here we go.
So stretching out, letting the weight pull the shoulders forward, and then retracting them back. Oh yeah, nice and slow. Deep breath. There you go, nice and easy. Felt pretty good. Whoa, get that squeeze. Doing a little modified version of our Buff Dudes cutting book, hell yeah. I'm going through it completely while I'm kind of rehabbing, getting back into the flow of things. And it's also kind of nice too because I wasn't getting a lot of cardiovascular activity. I was trying to eat the best I could, but can't let the marshmallow kid make a comeback. Unfortunately, I have photographic evidence. This is why you don't take obnoxious amounts of weight gainer and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I was a real life Cartman. Both cameramen. Oh damn. That's actually our third brother. Ooh, that's not Brandon.
Oh yeah, this is the one we don't like to show. He's always handling the camera.
He's never made an appearance until today.
It's my twin.
His name's Chad.
Doing some bent over rows. We're gonna do a little bit of a different kind of setup here. As you can tell, we're gonna be head supported on the bench and we're gonna be performing it with dumbbells instead of a barbell. Now this exercise is included in our new dumbbell program. So it's one of our favorites for sure for dumbbells. And one of the reasons why you do a head support on the bench is because it's gonna help, much like the last one with the rows we did with this, where your back is supported, we're supporting the head, so it's gonna get you in the proper position so your upper body is pretty much horizontal to the floor. And you also will not be able to move too much because you have to keep contact with your forehead to the bench at all times. So in doing that, you won't be able to get any kind of momentum with the hips that you can kind of sometimes, unfortunately like myself, fall into when you're going really heavy with those barbell rows. So this is gonna help isolate the motion a little bit more and really get those elbows high on this one too. And then bottom position, you're starting with dumbbells together. And as you're rowing up, pulling the shoulders back, getting those elbows nice and high and bringing them a little bit wider too. Now, you can keep them a bit close to your body, but since we just did the V-grip rows, it's a little bit more closer, elbows are running tighter. We're switching up a little bit to get a little bit of a wider. So that's one thing you always wanna do in any kind of exercise or workout, I should say, is that you're switching things up. You're making sure you're varying up the different angles and motions, that way you're hitting your whole back, because sometimes, let's say if your elbow's running close to the body, you can pay a little bit more attention to just the lats, maybe a little bit of that lower back area, and then once you start raising those elbows high, increase the angle between the elbows and your torso. So all of a sudden you're gonna hit a little bit of different muscles and strengthen them, make them a little bit bigger. So that's one thing to keep in mind in doing any kind of workouts, is just switching those exercises up, varying it up a bit, so that way you always get that nice aesthetics at all time. Now I can do the hair flip putts, yeah, I got competition.
Why am I even on this channel anymore? That was my only thing.
Still got it.
So what's been going on? This is the first workout me and Brian have done together in about I think it's been about 6 months. I've been up in Oregon, Brian's been down in California. Are the Buff Dudes over? Hell no. We're just still trying to figure some stuff out. One of those things is a gym. We need your help. What do we do? We're torn, you know? Whether we make a public gym that's open to everybody or a more private gym where we kind of exclusively focus on shooting videos and content, and then maybe let, you know, some people in from time to time, the ones with the golden ticket that you'll find in the special tub of protein. Buff Dudes in the Whey Protein Factory. But let us know, what would you guys like to see, and in what part of the country? This is, honestly, as far as Buff Dudes is concerned, this is probably one of the biggest problems we've ever faced, because we can't figure quite what to do. But we want to hear from you, so let us know. Gym, public, private, what part of the United States, or maybe even the world. We'll take your comments into consideration. Yeah. I got the golden ticket. Ah! Back to the cables. We're gonna be doing some pull downs, but we're gonna be doing underhand. So it is working the back primarily, and then secondarily, we're working the biceps because of the supinated grip. You're still activating your scapula by depressing and slightly retracting the shoulder blades. But you'll notice there's a lot more work involved in the biceps because of the grip, the underhand grip here. We're just be doing seated on the floor. And instead of having the back supported on the ground. We're actually just gonna be in the seated position, so there'll be a little bit of movement in the upper body, but that'll just actually activate a little bit more stretch in there. Oh yeah, definitely feels good. Feel that burn. If you want to feel a little bit of extra activation in the biceps, when you come down, really flex the biceps and squeeze them, and so you'll feel a little bit more contraction in the biceps there. That's a good one. Definitely warm the biceps up, because we got biceps. After we get done with back, we're gonna hit some isolation work. It's 3 amazing exercises, put some really good size on the biceps, so stay tuned for that. So when's this beard coming off? Should I keep growing it? No, it's the recovery beard. So when the recovery's finished, the beard is gone. Unfortunately, I gotta have another surgery. Gotta get some of the screws in my ankle out. Then I'll probably be out another month, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's worth it. Modern technology. Gotta love it. If not, well, I probably would have been taken on the back and put away like old Yeller. Last back exercise, it's gonna be in isolation. We're doing the straight arm pull downs. We got a little bit of a variation. Instead of straight bar, we're using a rope. So in this one, starting with a closer grip, and as you bring the weight downwards, you're gonna be slightly pulling apart, depressing and also retracting the shoulders, much like a lot of the other kind of pulling exercises we've been doing. So this one, you get that nice stretch, the top position, pulling it down, slightly pulling apart, right back up. But you're not pulling it all the way over your head unless you increase the angle of your upper body here to more horizontal, because then you can get a little bit more of a pullover kind of action where it's stretching behind you and then you're bringing it down. But you have to have a little bit of an extra motion in there. And it does feel good, although sometimes you feel a little bit more in just the lats when you keep this stabilized position. Well, I'll also feel it in the triceps a little bit, because once you reach this position, it's going to cause some stretch in the tricep, the long head of the tricep primarily. So you're gonna feel a little burn in there, but that's okay, it's a little bit normal. As long as you try to have that mind-muscle connection where you're consciously contracting the lats to pull that weight downward, should be pretty good. But keep it a little bit light at first, then work up to a workable weight that's right for you. We have a quick and easy tri-set, 3 different exercises working in different ranges of motion, different muscle contractions, flexion, and also the rotation of the forearm, the supination of the wrist there. And we're working in concentric, eccentric, isometric contraction of the muscle, and working the different ranges of motion too, from the mid portion up, the bottom portion mid. So with all that being said, it sounds kind of confusing, but this is why we're gonna show you guys. And it's an excellent arm blaster. It's definitely gonna put some size on the biceps if it's done correctly, and also with consistency and proper nutrition. So we have these laid out here, and as you can tell, we got a barbell, a straight barbell, and you're gonna be in a seated position here. So once you're in this position, you're gonna be starting with the barbell just in your lap, and you want a nice wide grip. As you can tell, this isn't a full barbell, it's a shorter barbell, so it's not necessarily 45 pounds, but you do wanna go pretty heavy on these. This is kind of basically the first exercise, or the first motion you're gonna be doing, and it's gonna be relatively heavy with a wide grip here. And so you're gonna be starting in this position. So this is from pretty much the mid portion to the top contraction there. So from mid to top, we're busting about 8 to 10 reps here. So nice and slow. Now this is working on not only the concentric contraction, but also the eccentric. Because once you bring it up to that top position here, you're gonna be slowly letting it down to that bottom position until it touches the thighs, and then you're gonna explosively bring it back up to the top position there. More. Ooh, nice squeeze. Bring it down slow, touch. Good. So once that's done, we'll be putting that down. We'll be going on to the next exercise, which is going to be more of the concentric contraction, but also a little bit of the isometric contraction, because these are can be iso curls. So you can be bringing them both up to this top position, or excuse me, mid position, and then bringing it down to the full stretch position, bringing it up, and then you're gonna alternate between both. So we did a bilateral exercise, now we're doing a unilateral alternating exercise. yeah. Keeping that supinated grip. Really feel those biceps burning on this one, because it's forced to hold that position as then you're going into that. Now, if you want to make it a little extra difficult, you can add supination into this motion too. So not only do you get the isometric contraction here, you're bringing it down, you're bringing that thumb to that neutral position, supinating to the top, and then bring it down and back up. Now, with the bilateral motion, like the barbell curls here, what happens is, unfortunately, if you're having a little bit of asymmetrical problems, you really can't key in on those kind of problems with the barbell curl. Your right arm unconsciously can sometimes be activating a little bit more just because it is a little bit stronger if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, usually it's your left side. So with the alternating unilateral exercise with the dumbbell iso curls, you're gonna be keying in on those issues too. So you can always do a few more reps on that weaker side. And for me, it'd be the left side. So once you're done with the iso curls, you're immediately going to go onto the lighter dumbbells and you're bringing it up to that mid portion here where your upper and lower arm at a 90-degree angle. And instead of curling, you're gonna be rotating the wrist here from a pronated to a supinated. And this is working on the brachioradialis there. Of course, a little bit in the biceps, because the biceps are controlling that supination, the rotation in the forearms there. So not only are we working on the flexion and extension of the elbow joint in the curls, but now we're working on the rotation of the forearms. And you will definitely feel it in the forearms, but after all that bicep work, that kind of pre-exhaustion, the biceps are burning because it not only has to hold this position in the 90-degree angle, but you're also rotating, you're supinating, oh, just like that. And this one, pretty much do as much as you can until you burn out, oh. And there you go. There's 3 quick, easy exercises you can perform back to back. Tricep, gives a lot of blood in those biceps, gets some major work done. Oh yeah, build those guns. There we go. We're done. First Buff Dude Bro workout in like 6 months. We're finished. See you again in 6 months. And that's how long it's gonna take to recover.
Probably, damn. Well, we'll have to do the goodbye in the mirror since, whoa.
Oh shit, it's blurred. Cameraman's on.
Shitty cameraman's fired. No. So we will see you next time. Yeah. Damn, that's what I look like. I got a little ways to go. Maybe we shouldn't have ended it in the mirror.
It looks better on camera.
Hopefully. Camera adds 10 pounds.
10 pounds of muscle.
So we're gonna work on trying to lock down that gym. Our book this year, coming Thanksgiving, is gonna be our Buff Dudes big book of fitness and food. Recipes and workouts, baby. Let us know what you want to see in the book. What have you not seen us do that you've always thought, I wish the Buff Dudes would do that? Because we want to come out with the best book we've ever come out with. Just in time for Thanksgiving when it's all that food.
Hurry up, my arm's getting tired.
So I just want to say, it's gonna take a little while, but I wanted to say thank you. All right.
Ready for the monologue?
Yeah, staple.